want to tell you a story about a little man, if I can. A gnome named Grimble Grumble. The little gnomes stay in their homes, eating, sleeping, drinking their wine. Alright! Oh, this is a video about George R. R. Martin and the best update he's given us in like 2 years. Before I jump into any of that, please do me a massive favor and slap a like on this video. The like goal will be 69. What? 69? That's like a sexual thing. Or just as many as possible. If you haven't already could tell, headphone warning, because I will be getting extremely loud and excited in this video. Long nights, Aldrizas, Pusdari, Ixos, winds of winter. Alright, now this is a massive update. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it to keep this video short, and I'll try to break down the most exciting things as I read them. I look around, and I don't know where 2021 went. I blinked and it was gone. Not a year that I am going to mourn much, any more than 2020. A global pandemic, so many deaths, including friends of mine, as well as celebrities of all sorts. Politics grown increasingly toxic. Preach, bro. It was a year best forgotten. I did, however, get a lot of work done in 2021. An enormous amount of work, in truth. I seem to have an enormous number of projects. I'm not complaining. I like working, writing, editing, producing. There is nothing I like better than storytelling. Don't we know? I know. For many of you out there, only one of those projects matter. Wink, wink, when's a motherfucking winner? I am sorry for you. They all matter to me. Now, here's the thing, George. It's not that no one gives a shit about all of your projects. That's not the case. We love all of your projects that involve A Song of Ice and Fire. That Dark Tower show or any of the wild card stuff, that's what most likely people are referring to when they say they don't give a shit about it. Any of the projects that you have your hand in that include something for A Song of Ice and Fire, we are more excited than a kid on Christmas for that, my dude. Just thought I'd clear that up for you. Yes, of course, I am still working on The Winds of Winter. I've stated that 100 times in 100 venues. Having to restate it endlessly is just wearisome. Well, you could just give us a release date. I've made a lot of progress on wins in 2020 and less in 2021. But less is not none. The world of Westeros, the world of A Song of Ice and Fire is my number one priority, and it will remain so until the story is told. But Westeros has become bigger than The Winds of Winter, or even A Song of Ice and Fire. In addition to Winds, I also need to deliver the second volume of Archmaester Gildane's History, Fire and Blood. Thinking of calling that one Blood and Fire rather than just Fire and Blood Part 2, or Volume 2. Got a couple hundred pages of that one written. Well, that's fucking exciting. But there's still a long way to go. I need to write more of the Dunk and Egg novellas, tell the rest of their stories, especially since there's a television series about them in development. Hell fucking yeah. There's a lavish coffee table book coming later this year, an illustrated, condensed version of Fire and Blood done with Elio Garcia and Linda Antonsen, my partners on The World of Ice and Fire, and my Fever River art director, Raya Golden. Another book after that, a Who's Who in Westeros, and that's just the books. So aside from the main series, Winds coming, we have Fire and Blood Part 2, which may be called Blood and Fire. We also have the rest of the Dunk and Egg stories. At one point, George had rumored those to be like 6. There was going to be 6 stories total. There's only been 3, so that's 3 more of those coming. Hopefully, he'll at least release a new story. We know how it ends at the tragedy of Summerhall. Basically, Dunk and Egg end up dying. I believe Aegon is trying to bring back dragons. Most people believe that as well. And in doing so, he was going to sacrifice Rhaenyra and Vhagar, Jon Snow's dad, right? And his grandma. But Dunk the Tall, saw what was going to happen and put a nix to that. He probably had to kill Egg and saved Rhaenyra and Rhaegar. That's the picture of him standing next to them at the tragedy of Summerhall. And then he probably went back in to go and try to save more people. And in doing so, he died. So that's that. That's my theory on how it ended. I know a lot of people share that theory as well. But we ultimately know that Dunk and Aegon V die at the tragedy of Summerhall, which is the birth of Rhaegar. Ultimately, he's responsible for Jon Snow and yada yada. But he also mentions that there's a coffee table book coming, which is like a condensed version of Fire and Blood. That's super exciting. We've actually already gotten art released from the calendar of Ice and Fire that will be featuring Fire and Blood for next year. I posted those on my social media. Check the link down below in the description. Make sure you go follow me. And let's continue on here. There are also the successor shows. Those have taken a ton of my time and attention this year. I have seen some comments out there questioning how much I am involved in these new series. The answer is a lot. Y'all, I'm going to pause the video. Y'all clap with me right now. Leave a comment down below with clapping hands. Heavily involved. He's the main reason why, he's the only reason why this world exists. And if he's involved, it's like God working with someone who's directly writing the Bible. As a weird comparison. Deeply, heavily involved in every one of the new shows. It's my world. And while I have been working closely with some fantastic writers and showrunners, ultimately, this is my favorite part, it is up to me to try to keep the canon. If you don't keep the canon, then what the fuck are you doing, right? Not saying that to George, but I'm saying like to the showrunners and anyone who's writing the scripts for these shows. If you don't keep canon, what the fuck are you doing? You're telling someone else's story. You're not telling your own story. You may be telling your own version of that story at parts, but for the most part, we want to see the previously established story, the person who wrote it, George R. R. Martin's version of events. Because your version is probably shittier than the person who wrote the series. Just saying. So far, I am very excited. House of the Dragon has wrapped in London and is now in post-production. Zeldrizas postari. What I have seen, I have loved. I am eager to see more. I am excited about other successor shows as well, however, and I am dying to tell you about them. But I'm not supposed to. So, well, maybe there are a few things I can tell you. Things that HBO has previously announced or hinted at. Or... ... We are developing live-action shows for HBO and animated shows for HBO Max. No, can't tell you how many, but it is my hope that a number of these shows will get on the air. Excuse me. Not all, no, it is never all, but more than one. I certainly hope so. Damn, I'm gassy as hell. Some of the ideas we are working on are quite different in tone and approach than what has gone before, and that thrills me. The world of Westeros and Essos, which is interesting because Essos is literally never mentioned in any of the books, aside from maybe in World of Ice and Fire. The term Essos was kind of made up by the fandom because Westeros is west. We also have a Sothrios and a Norvos, so Essos being east of Westeros, they just sort of combined that. It's huge, and there's room in it for many types of stories, about a wide range of characters. What can I tell you? Well, let's see. Bruno Heller, the creator and showrunner of Rome, is writing his pilot script for the Corlys Velaryon series. That one started out as 9 voyages, but we are now calling it the Sea Snake, since we wanted to avoid having 2 shows with numbers in the titles. The other one, 10,000 Ships, the Nymeria series. Amanda Siegel, our showrunner, has delivered a couple drafts of that one, and we are forging ahead. Now, I will say, the chick that plays Marcus's girlfriend in the 2nd season of Raised by Wolves, I don't know how strong of an actress she is. She does pretty good on the show, but she is who I picture when I think of Nymeria. I don't even know her name. Just type in Raised by Wolves Season 2 Marcus's love interest. Homegirl looks exactly like a real version of Nymeria. Holy shit, they should cast her. She already works with HBO. The third of the live-action shows is Dunk and Egg series, held by Steve Conrad. My team and I have had some great sessions. This is the one I'm most excited. I'm honestly more excited about Dunk and Egg becoming a series than I am about House of the Dragon. Yeah, puzzle that one out. That just shows you how good those novella are. The first season will be an adaptation of the first novella. I'm kind of jumping around a bit. The Hedge Knight. Contrary to what you have read online, the show will not be called Dunk and Egg, which could be mistaken for a sitcom by viewers unfamiliar with the stories. We're leaning towards A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Perfect. That's what he gave the title of all 3 of the stories put together. It's if I'm not mistaken, it's the Hedge Knight, the Mystery Knight, and then the Hedge Knight, the Mystery Knight, and the Sworn Shield. The Hedge Knight is the first one. The Sworn Shield is the second one, because that's Rowan Weber. And then the third one is the Mystery Knight. Yeah, because it ends up being Bloodraven. Yada yada, we're leaning towards another Seven Kingdoms or the Hedge Knight. Over on the animated side, well, I'm not allowed to talk to you about what's happening. Except to say that things are moving very fast. That's awesome. An animation adaptation of the main of Song of Ice and Fire series is the one thing that can make it 100% adaptable. Like every single scene we read about in the books can be adapted on screen if you draw it. And wait, come to think of it, the news leaked several months ago that one of the animated shows would be set in ET. That's true. Our working title is The Golden Empire, and we have a great young writer on that one too, and I think the art and animation is going to be beautiful. I would tell you more if I could. I don't think I can say a word about the other animated shows. Not yet. So he's talking about Doom of Valyria. That's the most anticipated thing that we have such little information about in Ice and Fire. We don't really know that much other than it was the Valyrians were digging around with fire magic in the 14 flames, and a chain eruption started, and that whole area got wiped out. And this was before Aegon the Conqueror even looked Westeros. This was when his ancestor, Daenerys the Dreamer, told her father, hey, we got to get the fuck out of here. So 12 years before the Doom of Valyria, Aegon's family went to Dragonstone. Then they eventually, when Aegon was born, he conquered Westeros. His dragon, Balerion the Black Dread, is the only beast that was around before the Doom of Valyria that's around, post for a little bit. We're probably not going to see Balerion the Black Dread on House of the Dragon, although there's a small chance because when Jaehaerys was still ruling before Viserys won, Rhaenyra's father and Prince Daemon's brother took the crown. He flew Balerion for a small while in his youth, and then when Balerion died, before Viserys became king, Viserys never took on another dragon after that. So there's a small chance that we could see Balerion in this new series, but that's most likely what George is referring to when he's talking about animated shows. And then lastly, he says, and House of the Dragon is coming soon. That's what you will see first. And me, I will continue to work with the writers and showrunners and directors and producer on all of these shows. Plus, road marks for HBO, Dark Winds, yada yada, AMC, Wildcards, UCP, Peacock, and Night of the Cooters. Night of the Pussies, what? And in addition to that, let me say once again, yes, I am still working on Winds of Winter. I have done so many Winds of Winter update videos. Check the link down below in the description for my most recent one where I actually give predictions for Daenerys and Jon Snow. Also, check out my channel for Song of Ice and Fire content. I just recently finished a reread of the entire series, and most of my more recent content is mainly book focused. Thank you for watching. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Review. Long night.